Well, behind me is a building called Sun Hill. It's an old people's home and it's in our village of Sunnyside on Tyneside, and it's going to be demolished. In fact, they're in the middle of demolishing it now. The reason why it's going is because they built a brand new Sun Hill, an old people's home, right next door to it, so this old building needs to come down. But there are some bees living in the building. Now, we initially knew about one feral honeybee colony in the building, and it has been there for about 7 or 8 years, and I've agreed to go in and rescue the bees, rescue the colony, but we have now discovered that there are actually 3 hives or 3 colonies in the building, and that means that our workload for that has now trebled. But if we are able to rescue them and able to save them, we're going to start up a community beekeeping project and get lots of other people involved in beekeeping. This is one of the 2 colonies we weren't aware of, and it looks quite recent. The comb is quite light coloured and looks very busy. And next door to it is what looks like an old wasp's nest, now well and truly dead. Now this is the one that we knew about, and it looks quite old, and I suspect it's quite messy inside. And this is the second one we didn't know about beforehand, and it is very big. Certainly lots of comb, possibly fewer bees. That's the air brick that one of the colony uses to get access to its nest, and if you just zoom out, you can see it's up on the first floor. Well, 2 days ago we checked out the 3 feral honeybee colonies here in Sun Hill and decided that we could move them, and 2 days on and we're here early in the morning, and what we're going to do is try and cut them from the roof there, and we're going to drop the comb with all the bees into this brood box and then close it up and leave it standing for a few days, and hopefully the bees will settle down, and then we'll take them away to a new site temporarily. Well, as you can see, they seem to be quite placid at the moment, so hopefully they'll stay like that during the move. I was hoping it was all going to come out in one big lump, but I don't think we're going to be able to do that. So, well, I've managed to capture the whole of the colony, and it was up there, and it's now in the box, and it went in a lot easier than I expected, and we think we've caught the queen as well, which is why all the bees are staying in the box, because they will stay with the queen. So we're going to close this off now, and we shall leave it for a few days to settle down. Oh, there is the colony. It seems to be very settled, and David is going to put a super on it just to allow it to expand, and then we'll put a roof on it. Well, I'm pleased to say that we've now captured all 3 of the colonies. It got a bit messy and were covered in honey, but all 3 were reasonably strong. One in particular was enormous, but we've got some of the comb here from one of the hives, which was just too much to be able to get into a brood box, and this here I'll just come down a level. This is one of the new hives, and we've put all the comb into the brood box here, and we've put the super on top. Now this is all wild comb in here. It's going to be a complete mess. Now normally you would try and sort of cut it out and put it into frames, but you know, frankly it just wasn't going to happen, because one, we just don't have the time to do it, and secondly, if we had tried to do it, it was just too messy to be able to cut it neatly into frames. So we are stuck with putting it into here. So what we've done is put a super on top with some frames in. They will end up hanging a lot of comb from underneath the super, but it'll give us some degree of control and management on the top of the hive to be able to have frames that we can take out, and it stops them hanging wild comb from the roof of the hive as well. So there we are. These are going to stay for 3 days here in the building, and then on Tuesday morning in 3 days time I'm going to move them to one of our apiaries where they will settle down and hopefully be the start of our community beekeeping project. Well, it's now the Tuesday morning, 3 days after we first got the colonies into the hives. We've got one of them here. It's not entirely as we wanted it, because where each colony originally was, the bees had started to cluster there as well. But each hive had bees in as well. So what we've tried to do is collect the bees from where they've been clustering and then drop them into their respective hives, and these are now ready to go down to our apiary. Well, we're at our apiary in Wickham now, and we've brought the 3 hives here, and we're going to open them up. We're going to keep the hives here this year, and then next year we'll move them to the new site where we'll have our community beekeeping project underway. But we're going to open them up now and let them come and go. As indeed, there they are.